Right, just about 2 minutes left. The match is starting. Obviously, Kevin rooting for Ungurs. Let's go. I assume he's a community favorite, right? Ungurs 3-0. It's actually round of 5, not best of 5. Yeah. I don't think I can change the overlay to say play all 5. And actually the game is already started. I don't know if we can watch it already. Quite loud, isn't it? Sorry for that. Who's Ungurs against? Against Daniel, aka a sturdy table. Alright. Game has been launched. Yeah, thanks for the raid, Harrison. Much appreciated. Go Daniel, go Daniel. Right. Second. Let me set up everything. All right. Shall we start with the game? Shall we hop into it? Someone remind me who these players are. It's Ungurs and Daniel, Daniel, sturdy table, how you want to call it. Alright, let's jump right into it. Alright, so as blue, we have a sturdy table, also known as Daniel, a long-time player. With the Aztecs. And on the left side, on the color red, we have Ungurs playing as the Maltese. I'm assuming that Aztec is gonna be the aggressor here, with the front war hut, and Maltese being on the back foot. Wait, let me stop the music.
Into the game already.
Yeah. Alright, so what's your opinion on this matchup here?
So it is Malta versus Aztec. I personally don't know very much because I don't know very much about Malta. Aztec has been buffed. Actually, no, it's been nerfed quite a lot recently, hasn't it? Because the ERKs are much weaker. Just in general, the Civ is a lot weaker. And
but that H2 has been nerfed by a bit. The unit Jesus.
That's Brian for you. Yeah, Aztec's been nerfed quite a bit. Malta, I think, is quite strong. You see players like Hausa play it quite often. He's just playing it on his stream. But realistically, I mean, what's quite interesting here is you've got Daniel, who way back in EP days, if you go back to sort of 2019 or whatever, he was.
I'm running out of baguette. I need more baguette.
So was Ungurs,
Fuck
actually.
me.
So both these players have gone from sort of
maybe I'm gonna go out
players to
later
being
to
right
buy
at the
more.
top of the sort of skilled player ranks. So it's an interesting matchup, to say the least. But Daniel as well is very, very good with Aztec. He plays them a lot in team.
Yeah, it's like one of his mains, I believe.
Yes. So it's definitely an interesting matchup. Again, I don't really know very much about it, but let's be honest. It's not my forte, Malta.
Yeah,
But,
neither. I played them in team, but I have no expertise in 1v1s. And let's have a look on the decks. So he does have the new cards that have been added and changed. The Kamakak, the Calendar Ceremony, and the High Priest, which increases the efficiency of his Warrior Priest by 10%. Which is like...
quite a big bonus. It's effectively an extra Warrior Priest. So,
yeah.
And
you do see indeed Kalmakak, so I do think that he is going to age with the Waha, with the Elder, and is gonna place it right in front of his face of Ungurs it is.
So the difficulty you have here, I think, as Aztec is obviously in Age 2 you have Mace and Mace Holton, which are they're sort of skirmish-like units, but they're slingers, so they have quite low range. Very good against heavy infantry because their bonuses they have 2x bonuses heavy infantry, and have a 1.5 speed attack instead of the normal sort of 3 speed for a skirmisher. But obviously Malta have very strong crossbows, which is gonna if he goes for an aggressive play, Malta's always got that benefit of having crossbows, a larger range than a Mace Holt, and they're able to sort of kite a bit, and it's just gonna be difficult for Aztec to deal with, really.
Yeah, but they do have the same range in H2. That is, they both have 16 range. And one thing that those Mace Holton has been renamed to Autonomous Slingers, they are now going for them, is they do have like almost no overkill damage because of their 1.5 rate of fire and low damage output. Yeah.
So I mean, they're efficient, but at the same time, microwaving them is very difficult because they're not an instant shooting unit. But we'll see what he does. Daniel might even go for Coyote on his early. You never know.
One second. Let me change the overlay.
I'm just about to say.
To 80% because it's a little off. UI to 80.
So I think you also have an overlay which it says the name of the song at the top left of the volume.
Oh yeah, it's bugging out. Hold up. There we go. Sorry for that.
I don't need to apologize. But you do see the one going forward there.
Indeed going down like almost at the DC range, I'm quite sure.
No, it's nicely placed by Daniel right on that trading post line as well, which you do see that Ungurs has got a TP on the left-hand side. So he won't be able to sort of capitalize on that and get a stagecoach up and running. Notably, though, it was slowed down quite considerably by the Explorer from Ungurs. So Daniel's sending in, if you look at Daniel's shipments, what he sends first as a shipment is quite important here.
Yeah, we do see the standard opening with German tongue, even against Aztec, who have quite potent.
See, Puma Spearman right out of the gate. 700 wood is his first card, which we did just miss. But it means he's going to go for the Puma Spearman and probably go for a massive mace with that 700 wood.
Indeed.
Want me?
But one thing I'm curious about if he got the big button. He did. So he's gonna get triple the XP on whatever he kills.
Yeah, so if he gets down a house, I mean, a normal house I think gives, is it 20 kill XP? You take one down? So it'll give you 60. That trading post will give you a huge amount, 80 XP.
120 XP? No, even more.
240 is
40, yeah. Look at the build XP.
And those Puma Spearmen, I mean, the siege on them has changed significantly throughout the years, but they've got 41 siege, which compared to normal pikemen, 32 is quite a big difference.
Yeah,
it's like having a couple
it's
of
like still the best pikemen out there.
Definitely, I mean, it's sort of leveling with the sort of a DOP level of siege, if you will. But you do see a couple of mace coming out from
he's
Daniel.
More from the.
So yeah, quite mace heavy. He's going to have 20 mace on the field. Can we have a look at Ungurs? What he's sending if he's going for the
He's going to respond with 8 crossbow himself.
8 crossbow and also training some settler wagons and some pikes even.
Very far back.
It is, but I mean, it acts as an outpost, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But you want to keep it alive as a stable.
I would have liked to have it more to here. So you have a network choke between the market and the PC. make it a little harder for those coyotes to connect.
Bit of extra damage as well.
Yeah.
But those mace, you can see the XP, as soon as they kill this explorer, they're going to get a massive amount of XP. 135, which is, at this
it's like
point
a
of the game,
shipment almost.
yeah, not quite. I think it's probably about a third of a shipment at this point.
Yeah, now it's like a third. I think 3 warrior priests.
But Ungurs defending well here. Daniel can't really push into this because he's under the TC fire. He's going to get hit by the crossbows when he goes back. But again, Mace Holton, they've got slightly less range when you consider how fast they fire. We'll nearly take down a crossbow there. We'll go through a house as well, which I quite like. Getting down this housing infrastructure is quite important early on. And now go for some coyote.
Which actually makes him pop attack. So he can't train any more units until he's making another house.
And I mean, look at his coin. He doesn't have enough for Minutemen at all. Even if he sells 100 wood, he's going to be short of Minutemen.
They need to say 200, which is 3 by the 1. But he's continuing his greed. How many settler wagons does he has? He has indeed maxed out his settler wagons, so with great actual constructions, the economy is gonna skyrocket.
Daniel did just send in 3 warrior priests, so it's not like Daniel's all in here. He's definitely playing for the game himself.
Still a backup plan.
And it's quite a lot of coyote here. It's quite scary. I mean, if you look at Ungurs now, is he actually producing any pikemen? Because he was pop capped for a while there. He's got 1 pike on the field, but now he's just making crossbow. This is going to be quite dangerous.
Crossbow, full commitment here.
Yeah, so if Daniel can sort of jam in those coyote runners, I mean, they're not the strongest of units, those coyote runners, but they do path quite well because they're smaller. Another 135 XP getting picked up from Daniel there from that explorer going down.
Villagers going down, being idle.
And all these crossbows going to get snared. And I think this might actually be the end of the game already. It doesn't look good for him.
Doesn't look good at all. But now he's gonna commit it, man. Quite too little, too late.
It's a late
part of where you need them.
They do have a bonus against the Puma Spearmen, but Daniel's chucked them into stagger mode. Into cover mode, even
This
not
is a huge cleanup for Daniel, that is.
But yeah, it's looking very strong for Daniel, and I think this might actually be the end of the game. I mean, very greedy for Ungurs.
Indeed.
But the greed doesn't pay off. I mean, he's now sending in 8 pike, but imagine if that 8 pike was there instead of the
big
eco card. Yeah. Now what does Ungurs really have? He has roughly the same eco as Daniel, maybe slightly more.
And but better crossbowman is not gonna compete.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't even have a massive crossbow in there. Most of his resources went into making more settler wagons. Which
look at the remass from Aztec. Insane. Sending in 6 more people behind it.
Again, Daniel's got 5 warrior priests on the fight, but he's not dancing for attack. He's just getting more and more XP, and you can see how quickly he's getting the shipments in. Another 135 XP.
Yeah, indeed.
Going down.
He has some units out now, but
it's just not enough. Those pikes aren't going to do too much because they're slow units. So his crossbow are just not allowed to basically fire on the units they want to, and they sort of pike. That town centre is going to go down in just a minute.
Yeah, nothing can prevent this from happening.
No, there's no big pop which is going to come out from Ungurs. And
his tactics now inbound.
He's just using those coyotes just to snare as well. You can see there's Mace Holton with their
300 XP again. That's like half a shipment. And that's it.
There's GG from Ungurs.
Nice
fast-paced game. So it goes 1-0 already to Daniel, which is actually quite a surprise to me. Because obviously Daniel quite well known in the team side of things and also in the treaty side of things. Not so much in 1v1. So Daniel taking the first game against a player which Ungurs I think is ranked 2 on the ladder at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, I think it's plays a lot. And
Ungurs he absolutely destroyed Hazza the other day on stream. Hazza got quite annoyed over it. So Daniel picking up the first win, which realistically first casted game of the EPL. That's quite on the psyche, quite a lot on the psyche. If you're losing the first game in a series, it sort of tries you quite often. And obviously it's a play of 5 as well, not just a best of 5.
So for all those people who have trouble breaking down the Maltese turtle, this is how you do it.
So yeah, fast and sharp for the first game.
Yeah, I
Daniel
like that.
playing excellently. But looks like we're going to be seeing Malta again. Because Daniel, by the looks of it, has chosen... I don't know if you want to put your overlay up.
Not yet. I haven't looked into the post-game stats real quick. Yeah. even the press count was in favor of Aztec because it was idled so much.
That's the thing. Ungurs, he had a lot of villagers.
Yeah, but all those were idled.
Yeah, it's pointless. There's no point having loads of villagers if you're not going to use them at the end of the day. But looks like the next game we're going to get into is going to be Malta again. Malta versus Hausa with Daniel's Malta.
Okay. All right, Daniel's Malta. And Ungurs picked Hausa this time. Interesting pick.
Yeah, two civs I don't really know. So
Me neither.
Another great game for me to cast. Obviously there's going to be a bit of a wait, isn't there, between their games?
Let's have a look on if the game is already up. It actually is in Korea.
Perfect.
It actually jumped right back into the action.
So Malta versus Hausa. Obviously in blue here we've got a study table, otherwise known as Daniel, for all intents and purposes. Playing as Malta, so we did just see Malta.
Yeah, but on the opposite side, from Ungurs.
On the opposite side, yeah. So we'll
This
see how
time
it
it's
plays out.
Daniel.
Hausa are quite an aggressive civ, I think, aren't they?
They used to be with their all-in rush, but they have been nerfed quite significantly, so that they are now more of a slow-paced civilization. You used to be able to get influence, their new resources, like their new resource that you can generate from trading post, but now you have to have the stagecoach upgrade.
Yeah.
That also slows them quite a bit down. And now they also need to like 7% what's called experience deficit, similar to Germany, that they get lower shipments because of their civ bonus.
But Malta has the same, don't they? I think it's 2%.
Yeah, it's 2%, so it's not as bad. That's why you see people going for the trading post start more often than not. But he decided to do a market start.
So I don't actually really know how Malta starts normally.
Yeah, like either do a market or a TP. Both can work.
Interesting though, because typically, I mean, if you go back to the days of Germany where Germany could either get a coin start or wood start. Obviously, it's fixed as a coin start.
Yeah,
now.
those random crate starts.
If you got a random crate start with a wooden one, you'd always go for a trading post. So Malta not going for a trading post is quite interesting to me, because typically if you have the sort of deficit, I don't know what their crate start is. I'm assuming it's coin. You typically go for a TP every time you could do. So
yeah. I still haven't picked the deck yet. Like the usual Hausa start hasn't been changed. Like you build the livestock market, you get a wagon, you build that, and once you have 150 wood, you sell one cattle and research here the anti-dogs equivalent and build a house, which you already did. And by the looks of it, it looks like a pretty standard deck from Hausa. Maybe besides Spice Trade that you don't see always often.
I mean, Spice Trade has been buffed in D, hasn't it? I think it gives
that it has yield.
To yield, yeah,
exactly.
Which obviously isn't a bad card, but I don't think we'll see it in this game. I'd be surprised.
I mean, they're missing a villager card in H2. They used to have a 4-will card in H2, but it has been removed to let them lose some tempo. So it makes sense that he added Spice Trade if he wants to go greedy. And let's have a look on the Maltese deck. It's pretty similar.
It looks pretty standard.
Yeah.
I mean, 2,000 wood, slightly odd in H4 maybe.
Looks like a pretty standard. Besides maybe refrigeration.
But obviously, again, Daniel is a player who likes to play into a later game, especially with team games and treaty games. So if the game ends up going later, I feel like Daniel just ends up with an advantage. Saying that, 2 villagers going forward, well, 3, but 2 of them going.
This one's gonna hurt, I think.
Yeah, she's hurting. So I think we're going to be seeing a sort of a bow pike rush from Daniel here. He is going to get scouted by
He's
about.
gonna get scouted by Ungurs. He knows what's up. Wait. Might gonna see the double Rex drop into a classic bow pike rush. Because he is not opting to send the German tongue, as it seems.
Yeah, so obviously the German tongue is, if anyone didn't know, is normally the economy-focused sort of gameplay you'd go for Malta. 450 wood. It gives you a commandery wagon, which is kind of like a stable, kind of like an outpost. It's a weird building.
Yeah, it's a building that allows you to get essentially consulate units that shadow tag to future ages.
And allows you to build 4 more settler wagons, doesn't it? I think up to 6 total.
Yeah, the 6 is a build limit, and it delivers you 4 villagers as well, which isn't bad at all. Almost like an H2 card worth in terms of villagers. This is the quartermaster from Daniel, and Ungurs is aging up his Hausa, which is giving it wood and a military building wagon. And Hausa gives you also the option that you use the influence you get to either build a TP or a kingdom builder wagon, which allows you to build a TC, an university, or a palace.
So the university being, I think, is the building that gives you a lot of XP, correct?
Yeah, the university is a building that gives you either XP or influence, depending on what resource you want to have. And we do see 7 Fulani. So he saw this. He's like, I need to defend.
Yeah.
I need 7 Fulanis.
Nice. I think Fulani archers actually have 20 range, don't they? So realistically, we're actually really good versus crossbow. You'd be surprised. Crossbow obviously only having 16 range into a couple of cards.
Yeah, so they are able to outrange and outspeed the crossbow as well. They have 4.5 base movement speed, those Fulani archers, and have an incredible animation. It's like instant.
So it's going to be difficult from Daniel because he's pushing in here. He's gone very aggressive. But you're going to see 12 Fulani archers on the field. He won't be having any Hausa on the field, Daniel, anytime soon. So this nice spam of Fulani archers, 17 ranger. Again, they've got lower damage. They're faster firing crossbows. And because Daniel just doesn't have the massa, he's going to have to push back.
Look at this animation. It's instant.
It's actually ridiculous. It's like AoE 2 animation.
Yeah, exactly.
Although, saying that, Ungurs, I think, might have to push back here again because Daniel's got quite a massa. He's going to be under 2 military buildings, and if he gets a pop of 10 crossbows, it kind of sways it the other direction, doesn't it?
Yeah. Little leggy here. He's gonna send in 600 wood. Yeah, he's sending wood back to back, which allows him to continue the production of those 2 military buildings.
It is a little all in though. Sending 700 wood and 600 wood and not going for anything economy focused. He's not even going to get the proper batches on those 2 crossbows. He just missed them, only got 4 out. So it's quite a weak sort of push here for Daniel. And I mean, Ungurs has got what? A number of Fulani archers. And he's able to kind of keep his economy up behind this because he's got that livestock market. You can see if he sells one of those cattle, he'll get 350 wood, or I think that's 270 coin. And now he's adding in some raiders, which are cheap, but they're quite effective cavalry units for how much they cost.
Yeah, they are essentially like Lancer unit because they have a multiplier against heavy infantry.
Well, they're more like Naggies, if you will.
Yeah, more like Naggies. Oh, my bad. Yeah. So they are specialized units. Let's say it that way.
Low HP though, so they will go down quite quickly even from just crossbow fire. Obviously, crossbows and light infantry have been nerfed recently. But Daniel's actually just got the mass on him now. And unfortunately, those five pikes at the back, if Daniel can keep them alive, enough of a threat to kind of keep those cav off the crossbows long enough that the crossbows can do damage.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
And those Fulani archers, there's not many of them left. Although Ungurs is definitely microing as well.
There goes the hero. He's sending 5 raiders, so this could be a potential wipe if he times it correctly with a batch of cavalry.
See, this is the thing. Yes, he wants to push in here. So
Oh, never mind. He goes for the range upgrade for the Solani.
See, I like that though, because once he gets 20 range in, I mean, he needs to get a bit of a larger mass in. Loses a villager out, which isn't the best. Malta's going to struggle because they don't have any cav on the field. From what my understanding is, Malta's way of getting cav Hus is quite expensive because they need to get the commandery up, which I don't know how much it costs, but it's more than 200.
It's a little more expensive than Outpost, I think. You can actually check. Oh, where's the villager?
That's a crossbow.
Bonjour.
Oh, really? I didn't saw it.
Yeah,
Commandery. Yeah, it's like a castle.
yeah.
Of course.
So it's 350 res is quite an investment to go for a couple of Hus.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think you just saw 8 Expo being shipped in from Daniel.
Yeah, it's like a huge amount of crossbow actually.
Yeah, and you can see also the Malta bonus there of the HP going up and up on the crossbow. 108 HP. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it can also kind of tip over the kill point. For
Yeah, it can stack really well. Like after 5 cards, already almost have like an infantry HP upgrade out of worth. Nothing to be sniffed at.
And actually, Ungurs is kind of forced to go on. If you look at the hunt on the left-hand side of the map, he's forced to push out into an area which is he can hunt there, but it's quite dangerous. I mean, the pikemen are going to come in and be annoying, but the crossbow, if they come over and see them, they can do some damage. Saying that, a couple of pikes will go down, and a couple more crossbow will go down, and you can see the range of those Fulani archers in 20 range.
Not only more range, but also more speed. So there's a potential of infinite kiting.
Yeah, more range, more speed, and of course they have only 1.5 attack speed, so it's ridiculously fast at shooting. Higher range resist as well, 20% range resist instead of 10% range resist. Oh no,
Both of them.
20. It's pikes which have 10, don't they? Melee resist.
That's 10% melee resist. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, Daniel's mass is still quite scary.
It is, and it only gets like scarier once he has like those cards in. 15% attack and HP,
And actually,
on top of 2% that they get passively.
And the more units he loses as well, weirdly, the better it is for Daniel because he's got that card, doesn't he, in Age 2, which Malta gets.
Yeah.
I've completely tripped to Jerusalem, which is it's got to be one of the strongest sort of late Age 2 cards in the game. 1500 resources.
It's like the best one.
Is
Aiding cards are always really scary.
5 vills up there for Ungurs, though. 2 going down. Might lose another one. Does lose another one
But
as
he
well.
has now a lot of cav, and Ungurs doesn't seem Daniel doesn't seem to have a lot of pikes.
Not a lot of pikes, and one thing to note is that those pikes, they're going to get absolutely slaughtered by those Fulani archers. And because the Fulani archers have 20 ranges, the pikes have to go quite far away from kind of the front of the expo there.
And they also has also been buffed a little bit in the latest patch. So they have now 1.75 against heavy infantry, compared to 1.5
Ladies
earlier.
and gentlemen, welcome back.
So they're better than crossbows in that regard as well. So it's, if anything, these raiders are effectively acting as sort of a meat shield. So Daniel is taking most of them down by just using the crossbow, but it kind of evens out the massive archers, which is what Ungurs needs. Because again, you're not going to be seeing any cav on the field from Daniel anytime soon, I don't think.
Yeah, right. One thing to note is that Maltese now have the Wigner card constructions. Those economies really good.
And he can't. As again, the difficulty that Ungurs has here is he can't really push into those 2 military buildings because it gives such a great position for Daniel. He can kind of just hold there and doesn't have to push back. So the range on the Fulani archers isn't.
That being said,
but yeah, I mean,
a significantly good trade for Ungurs.
yeah, those raiders are right on top of the crossbow. Again, those naggy multipliers means that you take quite a lot of damage to the crossbow. And you can do some just
It's like 30 that they take on these.
They're basically husks when they're attacking crossbow,
Yeah.
which is amazing. And then there's more raiders coming at the back. Daniel popped out a couple more crossbow, which is not what he wanted.
And there it goes.
And there's the
2-0.
GG. So an interesting kind of flip.
No, 1-1. My bad.
1-1, all stacked up after the second game. But quite an interesting game because you saw Daniel try and go for sort of the aggressive play like he did in the first game. But Ungurs kind of preempting that with the 7 Fulani shipment and following it up with quite a large mass of Fulani and finally the Raiders, which came and sort of swooped the game in.
Yeah, and he would have had 1.5k res shipment ready to go. That's a lot. 750 with 750 coin. Juicy.
And importantly as well, it's not crates. So it's quicker to collect than crates because it goes directly into inventory, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's immediately. It's like the Spanish edition where your crates go immediately in your inventory.
So, should we have a look at the post game?
Let's have a look. Only slightly outgathered despite waiting constructions. Military, yeah.
You can see where the Fulanis and the kind of Raiders came in.
Yeah. 103 units killed, only 42 lost.
You unfortunately you can't really trade like that for as Daniel. It doesn't work. You're on the back foot constantly if you're trading with a. It's like it's effectively trading crossbow with skirmishers at that point, isn't it? With the range difference.
Yeah, exactly. And res gathered. Yeah, you can see the jumps from the cattle market.
That's where the cattle market's quite nice as well, especially for wood type units, because obviously 400 wood is a lot more impact. I don't know how much you actually get from the cattle market maximum, but
yeah,
getting a kind of big boost of wood over a decent amount of food like you would for European say with livestock, it can swing games because you saw Daniel had to go 700 wood, then 600 wood, straight away, and I don't think Ungurs even actually shipped wood at any point in the game.
I don't think he did. Wait, wrong player. Yeah, he did once. He did send 700 wood. But still.
It's still a testament to the fact he didn't have to have 600 wood in deck. He still had a lot of cattle there as well.
Yeah.
Which could have been used.
Potentially up to 2,000 wood that you can trade to.
And that's effectively just more economy, isn't it? Because they treat them a bit like villagers because they're passively gaining resources as you get them.
Yeah. And the more you wait, the bigger the outcome.
They're definitely very strong, Hausa. I think people saying it's maybe been overnerfed in chat might be wrong. Seem quite strong there.
I think it's a civilization that is really hard to play properly because of all their age-up options they have. Because every age-up option gives you really a lot of bonuses. Like you need tax in the university, potentially even units that you can train. A lot of variables there.
It's much like Mexico and the US, isn't it? Where your age up matters significantly more than it does.
All right, at least we're alive again.
Oh,
Double check. Yes, we are indeed live. Well, sorry for that, but Streamlabs just decided to crash on me. All right. Now that that has been sorted out, we can jump right back into the action, right?
yeah. Right back
Not
into the action of Houdanese. I can't say Houdanese.
Let's just stick to Houdanese.
Versus Ethiopia. So, an interesting matchup. A very good map for Iroquois, Houdanese, or whatever you want to call them. Incredibly good map.
Also, a really good map for Ethiopians because of those yaks that they're allowed to get. Because
obviously,
Ethiopians don't get an extra cattle with the ships like Hausa does.
Yeah, they just have to collect them, don't they? And then Obviously, if you get loads in age 1, it's excellent for them.
Yeah, is excellent. Like, excellent pick for both players.
So obviously, who knows, Urko, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, who
Goes
donates
to that
for the dock
straight
start.
away. Not a surprise. It's been standard since. I can't remember who did this first. Actually, was sort of pioneered it. I think it was either Maito or Callan. I can't remember off the top of my head, or even B Winner. It was someone back in the EP days, where you go for a dock start and you chop for a house, chop for a couple of is B Winner, B Fisher. There you go. Chop for a couple of fishing boats, and it sort of boosts your early economy. You get sort of 6 or 7 fishing boats on the water, and especially on a map like this where the water's not massively resource heavy,
Yeah.
your enemy tends to not sort of compete against it. So you get a free reign of the water. You've got those whales, which later game obviously help with your coin. And you can also go weirdly for a farm in this matchup as Uro in age 1. But we don't see that happening. Do see though, I think that's 50 wood, is 80 wood. Big old treasure for.
Damn, that's like another fishing boat.
Yeah, another fishing boat and a half. You can see he's now spamming those out. 70 wood each.
Well, one thing that has been nerfed is the building time of the dock. Like it's like now significantly longer to build a dock. Like it just finished it and it got like built at maybe 30 seconds.
Yeah, it takes a while now. Used to be quite quick, and obviously that kind of compounds in terms of XP rates because one of the things you miss from doing this as Zero is you don't go for a TP. And typically you would go for a TP as though you get a wood start and then you can shut down your house from longhouse. So it delays your first shipment as well, it being slower. 4 boats specifically is quite greedy for Euros here as well. Here, going to be edging up probably with 19 villagers. Might eat a couple of the cattle to get himself up quicker. But he did get 1 or 2.
I don't see any.
There's one next to the longhouse on the right hand side.
Oh yeah, here.
Reacts, but that means Ethiopia's got a lot, which
Let's have a look.
they got 6.
Big cattle. That's insane.
Well, they've got 8, haven't they? But they start with 2 as well.
Yeah.
So
What
do they start with 3? Oh, don't know. But considering they've effectively got a livestock pen there, that's a lot of resources later on in the game. That A-Bun is, for some reason, killing that lion.
Yeah, it's actually really good at killing Treasure Guardians, having a 3 times multiplier against them.
Wow. I knew Ethiopia was strong. I didn't know, and they can collect them as well. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Ethiopia is strong.
And then there were like people complaining about the Shasti being able to collect treasures, you know? Right, what do we see? We see this chief from Ungurs.
I can't remember what chief is. I think it's wood, isn't it? Or is it villagers? What wise woman is the crate? I think that's
the
villagers.
elder was with the villagers. I forgot what the chief was. Or was the chief the one which gave you villagers?
The chief might be. I honestly don't know. I don't play enough of the Civ to know. But it's not wise woman, which is all the crates.
Interesting. We do see Somalis from Ethiopians.
Aging up with Sompu Pomp. Aging up with Sompu.
Like Somalis give you the bonus that you get an extra fishing boat for each shipment you have, and they also give a bonus for. They give you essentially Silk Road for and able to research them for like 250 influence, I believe. Interesting
strong,
pick here.
Especially on this map, as you tend to go. I mean, he is going for it now with TP at the back. You tend to go for this TP line quite quickly. One thing to note about this TP line, very specific to this TP line in the game, no others are different. This actually has a lower resource gather rate than most TP lines. It's not a massive difference. I think it's around 10%, but it's the only map in the game where you have a difference in kind of resource generation between the 2 TP posts, which is one thing to note. But you do see both players going for a TP at least. I wouldn't be surprised if both went for the TP.
What is it? I'm curious now. It actually didn't delay this age up by 2 lot, by like a whole lot, by like 15 seconds at best for another fishing boat.
How long? 10, 15 seconds.
There's like 15 seconds for another fishing boat, so it isn't bad at all. And it was the H-up, which gives him villagers and a healer.
Oh,
And
gives
also
him a healer.
Yeah, it has been changed. It used to give you 3 villagers, but now it gives you 2 villagers and a healer.
Okay.
And healer now also can work on the community plaza.
Well, I don't know anything about this game, but apparently I also got the TP line wrong. It's actually apparently a Dakota, not this map. Which is great. So that TP line is actually normal, so disregard everything I said earlier. But we do see some of those Somali warriors out, which are incredibly strong. They're ridiculous because they're kind of like a musk, aren't they? But
They are like
2.5 X.
Caroline.
They are like cannons, but they also do the extra damage versus goons as well, don't they? I think.
Yeah, against all cavalry. That's insane. It just says cavalry.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, Carolines, do they do it just against all cavalry? I can't.
So they only do it multiplier against heavy cap or melee cap.
Even stronger.
We do see Ungurs playing really greedy. 5 builds followed by the crate. Assuming he's gonna go for a greedy fast fortress.
Weirdly, I don't like this Somali push forward. Yes, it's denying that treasure, but you've got to consider that. I don't really know why Ungurs is still going for his treasure
I
because
think
he's.
he knows what's up. I think he's
He does-
scouted the Bohart that is defensive.
Mm.
And I think he is knowing that he's going for a greedy fast fortress.
Will he get this treasure? Though? I mean,
He will.
I think his scale will stay up running Raven.
He's had so much HP.
He does have a lot of HP, and he's going to get back to his base as well on type. And actually, funny enough, that healer might even help. Well, will he get back?
Yeah, he won't, but the H-up bonus gonna give him more HP so he can revive again.
Yeah, but it's a lot of XP. I mean, it's 100 XP to go
Yeah.
to.
100 XP for the war chief's live.
Yeah, 100
we don't see the
XP goes
messenger.
towards. I mean, messenger's always you're going to go for age of, age 3. But yeah, 100 XP for 80 wood. I don't know if that's a good trade actually for Ungurs. Because Daniel obviously gets more for his shipments, and loses explore, and that probably go down again as soon as those as he ages up again. That's an interesting card.
This one's
That's
like
based-
it's like Silversmith.
It
with
is.
the
I think
boost
it's.
the gather rate by coin.
I think it's the same as Silversmith, isn't it?
Yeah,
It doesn't
Silversmith
increase the
increases
yield.
the yield. This one doesn't.
Oh, this one does it for whales as well. Wow, that does a lot.
What?
It's more like Royal Mint because it does
Oh,
rice
right,
paddy.
yeah. Improves all coin gathering. That's insane.
But those Somalis are been quite annoying. It's going in and out.
With 5 movement speed, also quite a fast infantry unit.
They are really quite good, aren't they, those units?
They are. But they also cost 19 influence. Which isn't
So cool.
easy to replenish with Ethiopians. Because they only get influence by gathering from the mountain monasteries.
So do the Abans also add influence as well?
Yeah, like everyone who gathers here gathers also influence. You can change that here. Like 50-50, 75 and 25 or only coin.
So you're basically trading some coin for some influence, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. You're trading coin for influence. That's it. Here are the tags that I mentioned, like the fishing boat and is it? Oh yeah, like Silk Road. Oh, I didn't realize that it also boosts fishing boat.
That's a good thing, isn't it? I
Oh.
mean, 30% on the trade is Silk Road. I think Silk Road might be slightly higher if I remember
I
correctly.
think Silk Road is 35. This one is
It's
30.
25.
Wow.
But 10%, I mean, it's basically placer mines as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's quite strong, Somali coinage. He won't go for it. He's going to go for more, by the looks of it, whatever Cabaret.
Yeah, this one is the fast H-up option. Like, it gives
Oh.
you an instant boost for your H-up, as we can see now. Whoops. I'm not quite familiar what Habesha does. I think
It does something.
it really does.
Another mountain monastery out. I think that's just an age.
This is the H-up bonus. That's their different. Oh yeah, it was a bunch of points. And also this one. Boost hit points of nearby units by 10%. And this one is a very late game technology. Which essentially
I see.
is like a small trigger point.
They become mines in a way.
Yeah.
They don't get underneath them.
Like little banks. So what do we see? Actually, a little rate happening. Little rate, huge push.
Actually, that's quite a good big push, isn't it? Because you've got those A-Tree Dragoons, musket riders. Of course, what used to be G-Ray's profile picture on P. They're quite powerful compared to Ninja Dragoons, as well as those fast paddles also quite powerful. Although, you do see some Shoto warriors coming out, which are incredibly strong.
Yeah, but more so against infantry than against cavalry. Plus, 1.5, 1.25 multiplier.
It's just there's so many of them. It's such a difficult, unit combination to deal with. You've got the skirmishers at the back there. You've got the Somalis, which do bonus damage against the musket riders, and then the Shoto warriors, which are really hard to target, which is one of the main problems with them. But they've also got excellent pathing.
And other Somalis against the Dragoons.
I mean, if I must be honest, I think he went in with too few units there.
He was able to hold here with all those Shoto warriors.
And really, it's looking quite good for Ungurs here. I mean, Daniel's got, again, a big old mass of those, I can't save him, the skirmishers.
Neftenia,
there you go. Which are better than normal skirmishers, but probably worse than forest prowlers once you get the cards in.
Yeah, these are also more expensive than forest brawlers. By like.
Yeah, they are. And also, forest prowlers are just really strong in general.
Yeah, they trade like HP for attack.
Yeah. But obviously, you tend to want to attack because not all your units are getting hit at once, whilst all your units tend to shoot at once. More Shoto warriors coming out. What does
We do have a lot of upgrades for them, like here 10% hit points, and then there as well combat for them.
Big old shot from the crack shot, which does a decent amount of damage to the skirmishers.
You got a pocket cannon, you gotta love it.
That's it. Really, really good nade tree. A lot of damage. And obviously you want to keep Explorer alive because I think he boosts the HP by 10%.
Exactly.
Mixing in some Kanya here as well from Ungurs, which I quite like because yes, you've got those anti-cavalry units at the back there for Daniel, but at the same time, musket riders themselves will be doing damage to all of these Shoto warriors at the front. Shoto warriors aren't great against hand cavalry themselves, they're going because
Yeah, they have like lower hand. Really good, bad against cavalry.
Excellent against. They're basically lancers. I think someone in the chat said they're lancers with IoT pathing, which is, I think, quite a good summary of what the units are. And again, there's not a lot of them. He hasn't got really a massive mass. They are taking down a number of those skirmishers. But, I mean, Ungurs has got another batch of those Ungurs has got a batch of cab coming out soon. Explorer does go down.
Those are still really even. Despite him being on 44 build and Daniel being on 25. Considering that those Abens are like 1.5 villagers worth of gathering.
I mean, one thing to note as well is Daniel doesn't have the trading post on it back. He only has one TP.
Yeah, he's like both. Oh, also Stagecoach. I didn't realize that.
Back as well, which is, I mean, it's been nerfed since I remember what the calculations were, but I think it's roughly sort of 8 villagers for 2 TP posts, maybe 7.
I think it's either 3 or 4 per TP. I'm not sure.
It's a decent amount, nonetheless. I think it's just going to be, if it goes to a war of attrition, almost certainly you've got Ungurs who's going to end up being the victor.
Yeah, his economy is really starting to kick out.
I've got quite a nice mass of skirmishers from Daniel here. Not a lot of anti-cab though, and you see there's a lot of Kanye K horsemen on the field. Kanye West is as he used to call.
Kanye West, yeah. Those 8 Isa warrior won't be enough to heal against a huge mass of Kanye
They
West.
do auto attack, but I mean he can just jam his units on him. If he can at least kind of focus
12 of these.
Mali. And this is the difficulty where you're limited on how much influence you can get. You don't have normal goons, and yes, he's getting pushed back again. And Ungurs, he can just sit there. He doesn't need to push anywhere.
Oh no, he's sending infantry. I mean, sorry, war warrior combat has been changed as well.
Oh,
It doesn't affect all infantry, but only the warhard units.
Well, I think that was made due to Nats being incredibly strong for Iro, because Iro had pretty much all their cards were infantry in general, so they'd buff basically all the Nats in the game, infantry units.
And that was the big chunky mortar, the best of all.
Which is going to be difficult actually for Iro to deal with though, because there's not a massive amount of musket riders on the field. Obviously, Kanye do have a bonus versus siege. I think it's 2x. Top of my head.
1.75.
So they do a lot of damage versus, but I mean, there's not a huge amount of
It does
counter.
also have 3 times. I think it's higher than normal goons. That's 3 times more different.
Normal goods is 2.25, I think.
Yeah, something like
So that mortar is going to be quite difficult to deal with, especially now you've got the javelin rider in the front.
yeah, what's like exceptional goons.
It's so strong.
It's really red. 4.5 melee against cavalry. You don't want those next to your melee card.
And they're so cheap as well.
65 and
So,
50.
so this mortar is kind of
Kind
starting
of left in the open, isn't it?
It is definitely, but look how much HP it is. 475. You've got the skirmishers on the top of it. The Ganya kills can get
And
some.
there goes.
There goes the mortar. You can see all the villagers up the front now.
It didn't got as much value as I thought it. It could have gotten more.
We left it
The
too far
Vessels
forward.
Abens. Vessels
Oh,
Abens,
it heals, can't it?
they heal while in combat. That's the unique thing about.
Very strong.
So this might enable the mortar to get like 2 more shots off. But yet again, the economy from Ungurs is just that much better. Healthy. Those 2
See-
TPs.
If that mortar was out earlier, I think he would have done well. If he'd held back and kind of with that massive shotos he had early on in the game, and it was kind of a skirm match, even a skirm mass on either side, that mortar would have done incredibly well, and he just wasn't able to kind of capitalize
right.
on the advantage that he had.
Yeah, that's true.
But it does take us to 2-1, which, just to reiterate to everyone who's joining, this is Biggs versus CMC. Ungurs is CMC, and Daniel is Biggs, or a study table. And it's currently 2-1. Play all 5 series, so it's somewhat different to a normal
Indeed.
standard series, if you will. So will be 2 more games, but obviously each game it matters because it's a point-based system on EPL. Should we have a look at the post game?
Oh, sure. Have a look see. Oh, actually, I was speaking about Ungurs having the better economy, but it wasn't that case.
It's got to be the cattle at the start of the game. I mean, I think he had 9 cattle to start with.
The cattle
Which is-
and the Abens are really solid.
And you can see again the same as that Malta game. The units killed is so much more in favor of Daniel. I mean, not Daniel, of Ungurs.
Yeah.
Admittedly, Daniel's units I think were cheaper in general, especially the
Yeah, a little bit. Especially those totals are really cheap.
Shota warriors are really cheap comparatively, but you can't be trading. Effectively, that's a 2-to-1 trade for Ungurs, which is massive, huge. And even with a better economy, you can't play into a game where you're basically losing double the amount of units as the other player. It doesn't work.
Yeah, right.
You could even get back into the I don't know if you remember Jailed. He used to cast quite a few team games. He always used to look at the experience graph.
Oh yeah, the experience is like his main thing that he's
It's a
always
great thing to
focusing.
look
But
at.
common XP is much more reliable than you know, purely KD, but
It is a better
even
metric,
there, it's
but
a lot in favor of Ungurs.
yeah.
So it's a win regardless for Ungurs in terms of
It is.
micro ability and just straight up a military victory.
I think well played from Daniel though, because he played into the map. He basically picked a very good sim from the map, in essence, with all the cattle. But it just goes to show how strong sort of a beat is early dock for Iro Houdinese is.
Well, here we are again. Sorry again, I don't know what's up with my Streamlabs. I completely crashing out today.
So let me know when we're back in. But yeah,
Right,
apologies,
so-
guys. It's out of our control, unfortunately.
All right, so we have Daniel again on the left-hand side as blue, as Inca, my favorite nation here. Personal favorite, that is. On the right side, spawning as red Ungurs with Lakota.
So obviously, Ungurs here, just to reiterate, if anyone's come to the stream and not kind of realize what's going on here, this is EPL, so it's a team-based game, or team-based series where there's a lot of 1v1s which are stitched together, and you get points at the end. So there's a play or 5, and the teams which are represented today are a study table, which is Daniel, is playing for Biggs, and on the right-hand side of the map we have Ungurs, who's playing in the red color as CMC.
Right.
So currently 2-1 to Ungurs, but obviously play or 5 format, still got 2 games to go, including this one. Inca versus Lakota, though, an interesting matchup.
This is actually one that I have never seen before, the dog start with Inca. Because usually the standard is that you either go for a Kancha house and a TP, or straight up 2 Kancha houses. Because they give you a trickle of food. They're like little banks.
So a Kancha house is how much in terms of resources?
0.6 per second is like a villager.
I'm sorry, I meant cost.
170.
170. So he could probably have gotten. Well, he could have gotten 2 Kancha houses for about 1 or 2 fishing boats. And a fishing boat is roughly the same when it's catching food. Slightly
like a
more.
little slightly better.
But you do get the utility of a dock. And obviously Inca is very, very strong on water. They've got the Age 2 rafts, which at least in
salt ponds.
salt ponds
Incredible.
is incredible. Oh, it does it for whale and fish.
Yeah,
That is
and for
actually-
herded animals.
That's an incredibly good card.
That's insane, God.
That's spice trade on steroids, isn't it?
Yeah.
Although saying that, you don't actually need very much food, do you, for Inca? Because you've got the catch houses. Difficulty Lakota's going to have here, though. You do have very strong shipments in terms of water play. You have 3 privateers in Age 2 and 4 privateers in Age 4. Age 3, sorry. Difficulty you're going to have is that their other water play is just quite weak. They only have canoes, which they're cheap and you can mass them, but against those rafts, I think those rafts are just ridiculously strong, honestly. And obviously, both civilizations have fire pit they can use, or the community plaza, not a fire pit.
But the only difference is that Inca needs water ceremony to boost up their boat attack. While Lakota can use their siege dance to increase their siege attack of those canoes. And that also increases the straight water-to-water combat because they use their siege attack.
Obviously, siege dance available in Age 3 onwards, so you can't use an Age 2. But
Yeah.
you're right. I mean,
He has the
Daniel-
option. At least.
Daniel's he's going to struggle on water if Lakota can get a presence on water, can get up. But it's going to be Inca, I think, early game especially, definitely have quite a big advantage on water compared to Lakota. And one thing to note is that Daniel, especially in team, this is at least from my knowledge of Daniel, likes to play water when possible, especially with countries like Port and with Inca. So he's a seasoned player when it comes to playing on water. And honestly, I don't know how well sort of well versed in water Ungurs is.
We are about to see.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. He's aging with the Elder, which gives the first two upgrades from the market for wood immediately for free after he as age up bonus. It's incredible resource worth it. I think it's like 500 res, something like that.
Does it instantly research them, or do you have to research?
Yeah, it's instantly researched once the age
Wow.
up.
And you don't have to get down the market, do you? Either?
Oh, you don't have to. It's like
the
immediately.
The Lakota Explorer is also quite low in
Oh.
HP. 6 HP!
6 HP.
He's going to get away because he's speedy. That's huge, though, getting him back again, because obviously with Lakota, one of their main strengths here is the speed they have.
Yeah, exactly.
That Explorer makes pretty much all of their cavalry the fastest in the game, bar
Him
none.
with the chief. Just giving him the base.
Wood.
No. Oh yeah, right. I was
100 wood.
being quartermaster. What? Why did the nature with quartermaster?
So
Wood first card. Okay.
we'll have to see how Lakota play this. He goes 4 wood straight away as well as a ship.
He might want to go for the TP line.
Villagers at the bottom there.
Yeah,
Warhawk.
I think he wants to go for the TP line. With a Warhawk, make a lot of infantry and
So
the entire TP route.
is this giving too much time to Daniel though? This is the consideration you've got to make, because this map in particular as well is
This is not gonna go up. This is not gonna go up.
5 plume spearman is massive.
That's one of the big buttons from the TC. It costs 602 and it gives you 5 Timber Stream immediately.
That's going to go down. One of those
Wow.
villagers is going to go down as well from being snared. You do see now 2 Warhawk Travois coming in for Daniel as well. He's going to place one probably by the coast. Oh no, straight
Oh, in
over
the middle.
forward. This isn't
Continuing his
looking
punch house
good.
boom.
Yeah, so Daniel's got the economy here. He's going to have quite defensive players as well from those 2 Warhawk Travois. I believe
Gathering rate. 0.7.
that's strong. That's really strong. It's like 4, isn't it? Edge 1. Interestingly, those I think that the 2 Warhawk Travois card also boosts the HP of them.
Yeah, by 15%, I believe.
Yeah, 300 HP on those, so nearly sort of the same as an outpost now, which is
Yeah.
to
For
be
the same
snuffed
cost.
at. That TP is going to go down, and what does Lakota really have backing this up? They have a couple of Seaton bows on the way, which pretty naff unit really, and then 5 axe riders. So I mean,
four
those
more on the
plume
way.
spearmen, 4 more on the way, but again, plume spearmen are very strong units.
Yeah. Like, maybe the second best spearman? Probably?
What would be the bet?
Like 20% melee resist?
Yeah, but what is better than plume spearmen?
I think Yuma might be better. Because they have like 5 times multiplier against.
I think yeah, they do more damage as cav and they have more siege attack actually. But I think Puma have less HP.
I'm not quite sure about that.
I'm also not very sure if I must be honest. He's
I'm
gonna
not
get
the numbers guy.
he's gonna get them picked off anyway from
Yeah.
those act. I
Gotcha.
mean he's gonna have what 12 Setons and
That
9
9
act riders.
Aquados. That is something to begin with, but you know. His
But he's
economy is
gonna be-
really safe. He still has,
He's pushing into 2 war huts as well.
yeah, 2 hot, his entire wall of houses. And he doesn't need to push out anytime soon because he still has a lot of trees in the back.
So, I mean, the positioning wise, it's going to be in Daniel's favour. The pathing, as much as we all know, the pathing in this game is not amazing. The pathing is
Definitely isn't.
in favour of Daniel. Those 2 war huts, again, look, they're doing, what, 45 damage a shot on those cows, which is not snuff at, and you can't really push into this
Not really.
as Ungurs. And again, one of the main benefits you've got here as the Inca player, a lot of your economy isn't idleable. So you've got a lot of those cancer houses, of course, which are about a villager each on food, slightly less. And you've got a number of those fishing boats at the back. All your resources are nicely kind of tucked at the back. Yeah, he's going to lose a chasqui right there, but that's not a massive loss at all. And I just like how Daniel's playing this.
He's trying to idle him, but not gonna idle a lot. one villager for a little bit of time. He does have the stage spot working for him soon. And he ships around coin, which might tell me that he wants to age up to 3.
His macro is looking like an age up. So I was saying that he has just queued up 5 seasons. I don't know what he'd use the coin for, because there's not really any coin units in age 2 as Lakota at all, is there? But apart from, of course, the bow runners. And quite a nice engagement here for Daniel, though. Really nice engagement, taking out all those sneak runners with chi moves.
Really strong. Can mostly do it with that pathing.
But just losing that early war hut for Ungurs was quite a blow, really. Quite a massive blow.
He sent the coin in order to send the Buccaneers. Like an early investment.
Buccaneers are nice here, actually, really nice, because for people who don't know, Buccaneers are quite slow ships, but they're very powerful. They're kind of in between a caravel and a frigate, if you will. Less HP than a frigate, but about the same damage. So this will clean up at least the water plate, and there's no actual war huts on that coast.
Oh, that's like a council maybe on the water play. He has a shipment available. He could send 2 Chincharos, but
That's a waste. The difficulty there is that those 2 Chincharos, they get demolished, don't they, by the
Buccaneers.
or Buccaneers or Privateers or whatever they're called. I don't know anymore.
Whatever, it's the same unit.
They're exactly the same unit.
It's
Doesn't
going
matter.
greedy. The salt font.
Salt ponds. Oh, that's going to be. If that comes in and then the Buccaneers are already on there, it's effectively a loss of a shipment, really, isn't it? Because
That's half of a shipment. But he still has,
oh, he still has, yeah, villagers on food actually. You're right.
but not a lot. Like 10 at best. Just getting like 2 villagers maybe.
But he is taking down that trading post line. I mean, Buccaneers are now in. So
Denying its entire TP line. But at the same time, Ungurs is denying this entire water play.
look at these units.
It is about the same.
7, 8
Convert
villagers on that, yeah. Especially with salt bombs in now as well.
Yeah. 0.8. Incredible.
But this mass from Daniel's really nice. Like he's gonna get
Huge pile of inventory.
And obviously one of the biggest benefits of Inca here is a lot of their units are fast. So those Presumed Spearmen are fast.
Another big button.
4.5.
Gives
Another
them
big button.
10% movement speed, and they can't be snared anymore for a brief period.
Oh, they have a big button now. I didn't even know.
It has also changed. They used to be not get snared at all, but snare is just quite huge of a mechanic that they changed it to the big button.
I really do not know this game anymore, do I? Because I thought they were still unsnareable.
But wow,
But-
Thetans against Jungle Bowman, not a great matchup.
But yeah, they are just getting basically slaughtered here, and I
Oh.
think it's be sort of squaring it off at 2-2
Spending his own coin for investing it in. But the water play has been completely denied. But now this score jump has been like almost twice the score of Lakota.
Lakota does tend to score less.
Yeah, he does score less, but like at best it's like 2,000 for 100 being each house. But not by 7k.
By 7, yeah, so, I mean, he has locked down the coast, which, if he can get the Privateers back, would actually be quite useful here, because they have quite decent range with their ability, but all these villages going down, the infrastructure is going to go down. I don't know what that man is running it at the back. What was that unit?
Oh.
Swiping again.
What? Yeah, and definitely.
There's the GG from Ungurs. So that squares us off at 2-2. Quite a close game for what a lot of people are actually predicting to be kind of an Ungurs sweep, if you will. Sort of Dan showing his ability to play quite a variety of civs.
Yeah, and a lot of stuff we rarely ever see. like Hausa, Ethiopians, Inca even.
I quite liked how Daniel played that as well. It was he played it in a way which he didn't commit fully to water. He didn't commit fully to land either. He saw his opportunity of sending out that big button, took down that war hub, nice and early, and kind of just ran with it and massed up and kind of swarmed Lakota at his own game, if you will.
Yeah, sure. I also got the ginger brewing, which even improves the
0.96.
yeah,
That's-
it's like deer traps villagers.
and you think that they nerfed shrines because apparently they were too strong.
And their overall contrast has been nerfed because you used to have it like
Used to be able
15 or
more.
16, I forgot.
Yeah.
But now it's only 12, and they also got more expensive. So you have to invest more wood for less food generated.
Mm.
But at the same time, they are more sturdy now.
They're very strong. 600 HP is nothing to sniff at, and also they make such a great defense because they're huge. But yeah, quite a strong game there from Daniel.
Curious what the next game will play out. Sort of in the post game. Yeah, huge reference.
That's the thing with Lakota. He lost that war hurt early on. You lose your momentum, and there's nothing you can do because he wasn't set up to play for a long game, and he wasn't set up to play for even sort of an late age 2 game like it ends up being. So it's a difficult position to be in there for Ungurs, definitely. And I mean, the units killed actually tells a different story. Kind of Ungurs better off there, but it's just a mass there from Inca. Double the units effectively, 60 to 99. That's
Yeah.
not cool, but
By considering that Incan units are a little cheaper than Lakota ones.
yeah, I mean the cavalry from Lakota there's very expensive, 160. I think 160 food, 40 coins. It's 200 res total. And obviously, Chimu runners, which was Daniel's most popular unit, is a lot cheaper. But
Yeah.
Jungle Bowmen are strong, yeah. 150 and 50 is still 200.
Compared to 70 and 35.
Weirdly, I
Plus the
think
Titans are little. What? They're also more expensive.
Titans are more expensive, yeah, than Jungle
What?
Bowmen, and they're worse units as well.
Are they like worse?
Yep.
It doesn't make sense. Like, oh. But okay.
Wait, Titans have a bonus versus Wolves?
Yeah, they added that.
Oh my god, this game has changed so much.
Yeah, I know, right?
This is me just learning this stream. I
Right.
think they actually have booted up their next game. By the looks of it, it's going to be France versus America, USA. Again, I mean, I haven't actually seen much USA play actually in tournament games. Although they might
Right.
be popular, I haven't watched many tournament games. Let's be honest.
Just to prevent the potential crash to happen. France versus USA. Assuming Daniel is France.
Oh, I don't know. It must be. Daniel used to be way back when we still had
I'm just
names
assuming.
for banks. Daniel used to be kind of a French one trick, if you will.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
He was kind of colonel level only with France. He was the GUA of France, as GUA is with Brit or was with Brit. Obviously not so much anymore. Definitely kind of come into a stride. We did see earlier. Saw a comment from. Saw a comment from. I forgot.
All right.
You found the flag. There you go.
Yeah.
13 stars and stripes. Yeah, we saw a comment from. Who's the treaty guy? I've completely forgotten his name. Julian. Saw a comment from Julian saying that Daniel actually picks up scissors very quickly. So that's probably why his civ list is so diverse compared to most people. So below we go, chat asking what the format for EPL is. I'll quickly explain it. So EPL is it's a team-based 1v1 tournament. So five games for each side, isn't it? So there's four teams, and each kind of rotation as five games for each. One team plays against another team, and five players from each side play against each other. Play all fives, and then obviously you get points out of 25 total. So they're not best of fives or best of seven games like you typically get in an Edge Post series. They're just play all five, so it can go 5-0, it can go 2-3. You can't get a draw. So the current game is Daniel, who's playing for Biggs, and Ungurs, who is playing for CMC. If you want any more information, go on ESOC. There'll be a link in the YouTube description, I'm sure, and there was one on Twitch as well, which will give you all the rules.
Yeah, Hughes just send it in.
There you
Man
go.
of the day.
So yeah, click that link, and you'll get all the information you need.
It's taking quite a little bit of time, isn't it?
It is. Hopefully we can find it soon, because they are definitely in game.
Ah, there we go. We have it. Right. So give me just a second to. Usually I wanted to go for transition first, but I'm still need time to get used to this program.
It hasn't crashed. Perfect.
Yeah.
Right, I'll let you introduce them.
Right. So once again we have Ungurs. I guess was right. As USA. And Sturdy Table with his main squeeze as vice versa. Sorry. This one is France and this one is USA. Oh well.
Oh, Daniel's France. Okay. Back to his main squeeze.
Yeah, right. And I was picking up. I've never seen him playing USA actually. Like the first time I've seen him playing that nation.
I don't think I've ever seen Ungurs play USA either, if I must be honest. Obviously, quite an interesting civ because you can play quite defensively, but you can also play quite aggressively. One thing that the US always kind of relies on is the Gatling guns in Age 3. They're incredibly strong versus infantry. So we'll definitely see those play out. Don't really know how this matchup plays out, though, honestly. France being really being the default state, isn't it, in terms of gameplay?
USA also has a lot of openings they can do. Like they can do a TP with like Chinese immigrants trying to take the entire TP line, or going for like there we go. But I will see. Maybe we do see Chinese immigrants start. That he's trying to take the entire TP line.
What does Chinese immigrants do?
Chinese immigrants gives you a TP wagon instantly, and you see this. You can play Minuteman, and this has like a Levi ability. Like it takes a minute to recharge before you can call Minuteman again. And Chinese immigrants allow you to instead call from those TPs another TP rickshaw that you can then build another TP from it. Yeah.
Oh wow! Is that just 200 wood?
And also boost the HP by 40%.
It's effectively their version of advanced training post, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
So, I mean,
and it comes with a rickshaw immediately. So it's like the Chinese ATP actually, where it just gives you the wagon.
But it even gives you a Chinese wagon as well.
Yeah, it's like it's. Interestingly, it's going for Cheyenne.
Cheyenne are very strong. So, for anyone who didn't know, Cheyenne are a 3,500 HP on that training post. That's beefy. Cheyenne are the natives, which are cavalry, but they start with a bonus versus other cavalry. So, if France goes to a cavalry start here, Cheyenne ripped to shreds. Basically, they're anti-cavalry, but also cavalry. They've also got some quite nice shipments in that Cheyenne settlement. They've got what I believe is
Bison,
unfortunately, a bison and also a coin upgrade of some sort in terms of
Bison, more trade time, and
oh,
even more
the
damage against other calves. Because they don't do enough damage already.
And also, notably, you get the XP as well. The XP trickle of 3.5 a
Yeah.
second. Well,
It's like
35.
half a church. And a third of a TP.
It's still a nice little trickle, though, especially for the US, which relies a lot on their XP trickles. Do you see mercantilism coming in? Pennsylvania being the age up, which I think is very standard. That's the one you get the church, isn't it? The church.
Yeah, the church, which also gives you the coin trickle.
Hello.
It's like no benefit, no deficit, I mean. It says on the card that it reduces all income from coin, but it also only affects the estates. For the time being, at least. So let's have a look on 30 table. Going for a TB start, getting all those market upgrades now. Going for the quartermaster, pretty standard, and also like as standard as it gets as a deck.
Yeah, this is Daniel's bread and butter, really, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's massively. You go standard France. He's going to go for an FF. There's no doubt about it in my mind. He's going to go for a semi. Well, saying that, if he goes for a semi FF with Cav, that you typically would do as France in this matchup, because I think US aren't really a Cav civ, are they, in general?
But they have now access to those Cheyenne Rider, which are incredible against Cav.
So Cheyenne, I don't actually know what the multiplier they have anymore, because they've changed massively since EP days. But the bonus they have is incredible. As in, like, versus Huss, if Dan goes for Huss here, will be very, very useful. You see Dutch immigrants coming in, which is very greedy. Very, very greedy. For and obviously capitalism came in earlier as well, which
but
is
he has the experience to allow him to send 3 H1 cards. Because he's gonna age with even more XP crates. Look at that. 200 XP right off the bat, which is gonna give him another shipment.
And that barracks wagon coming down as well.
This one gives also a building XP. So, another shipment ready from the get-go. And then we see the Philadelphia Convention, which gives him, as mentioned before, the 2.5 coin trickle, I believe.
So he's going for quite an eco-heavy build here.
Yeah, right.
What
Against
does
France.
He's got 3 Highlanders in deck in H2. Is that a card?
Oh yeah, this one, which gives him like 1 Highlander for each saloon, meeting house, and trading post.
In H2?
Yeah. It used to be stronger. I forgot how they changed it.
Very nice card. Obviously, Highlanders being pretty jacked mercenaries. 75 attack and roughly 400 HP. So in H2, they're very strong. So if Dan is going for Musks as his start, so he's not going for a sort of standard.
But where?
Cav, I think he's mid map actually. Yeah, mid map.
Oh, there. I think it's nice to note that he doesn't has the promoting card. Because France now has a card which allows musketeers to promote. 10% HP and attack, I believe. And this one also now affects musketeers, the ranged infantry combat. Attack.
But I think it always has, hasn't it?
I'm not sure if it always has.
This is a team card, so it's just infantry in general. I don't know though. I might be wrong. There you go, Mini Melt saying in chat that it always did.
Always did. I thought it was new.
But you tend to transition anyway into Skirm anyway in H3. You wouldn't really stay as Musk in H3 as France. It's quite unusual too, because they don't auto attack.
Because regulars ours are simply better, right?
Obviously, regulars have 14 range, which is the big thing.
Yeah.
About them. Do cost more, mind.
But the range is not.
The range is definitely not important when
Yeah,
just running
you can go early like that.
Difficult situation for Ungurs to be in, because obviously he wants to keep that TP up. And he wants to kind of control the TP line himself, but he's not going to be able to. And if he's playing the Scottish Highlanders card, one of the things he wants to do is try and keep the amount of TPs he has up high, because he's only getting 5 now. Realistically, you want to get as close to 10 as you possibly can do. 10 Highlanders in H2 for 400 gold or whatever it was.
Look at this coin trickle. Insane. He doesn't need like anything on coin in order to maintain production from those
Is that a saloon going up at the back? I think it is. At the back of his base.
Actually, yes. Meeting house. Oh, it's a meeting house.
Saloon. Right hand side is a saloon.
Meeting house.
The,
Ah, yeah, here. The old onion.
it's the only shape of building I know is a saloon.
And we do see
cool.
Scottish immigrants.
There you go, Scottish immigrants. So when that
That's
saloon
cool.
goes up, that's going to be, I
Like
think,
five or six.
5 or 6.
Six.
That TP did go down, which is a little rough. But I think six Highlanders.
Six
I mean,
Highlanders is incredible of an H2 card.
very strong. I mean, look how many units both players have.
But it doesn't matter because he's just gonna use this and he built the CB right away.
Or is it going to build quick enough though? Is that Scottish Highlanders card is obviously a merc card, so it's a lot slower to come in. I think I get it up actually, and really, I mean, there's no anti-infantry there. If he can keep the Highlanders alive when they come in, especially if he gets that TP up, I'm kind of waiting for it to come up.
This one is definitely gonna go up. 15 seconds.
Oh, I don't know. I think they're going to come in very close. Because all he needs to do now is right-click with the Highlanders and regulars. Does he get the TP up in time? He does. Just a second. There's all the Highlanders.
Oh, there are Highlanders. Look at this. 63 attack, 400 HP.
40 range resist as well. Remember, these are
Melee
incredibly strong units. Yeah, 40 melee resist even. Sorry. Incredibly strong units, and actually his regular stack as well isn't even that bad. So
And now he can simply H behind it as well.
that is a strong card in Age 2.
Yeah, it's actually
Considering that-
combined with his build. He does now. Like he has
Considering
incredible
9
economy.
Incredible economy. 9 Highlanders is the normal shipment in Age 3, isn't it, for 1,000 coin?
Yeah. And he's getting it for like 400 coin in H2?
400 coin nation. Obviously, an Age 2 shipment is also worth a lot less
Yeah.
because it's
So
worth roughly 700 resources instead of 1,000.
behind it he can actually H without sending 700 coin. And being with A allows him also to H up like the fast H up. Because this allows him to get free technology with the general assembly.
Couple of Highlanders back there as well, warding off the raids at the backside, which will probably take down that. That's a long-range Highlander shot.
Yeah, right. That was like 16 range.
They've been aiming. They know what they're doing.
Another shipment ready. Yeah.
Been down
State
here.
research. I think it was Kentucky. Yeah. I'm not familiar what it does. Was this the one which gives you sharpshooters?
It gives you a coal mine. I know that much.
Oh yeah, then
Other
this
than
was
that,
the
I
one
don't
with
know.
sharpshooters. It gives you a coin mine and sharpshooters. The scaling card maybe.
Also gives you owl hoots, doesn't it? I think it gives you access to owl hoots as one of the cards.
Alhood is a basic outlaw that USA
Oh, is
always
it?
has access to here. Alhood.
I generally know
Like-
nothing about this game.
USA always has access to those three: to Gunslinger,
Oh.
Cowboy, and Alhood.
They have those cowboys, which are very annoying. There's they have the upgrade, don't they? Which is incredible.
France already H up at this point. Yes, Musketeers are still H2. Might
See,
be
this-
worth considering upgrading it for 22.
He should upgrade for 400 resources. He should upgrade. This is the difficulty though. Musketeers, they're such a weird unit to have in Age 3 as France here because you want to go Scum Goon. But if you've got so many Musketeers, you're going to have to upgrade them. But then it's kind of a waste of 400 resources at the same time. There's 2 Highlanders raiding at the bottom. I like that.
Yeah. Not quite enough to one shot the ADB there.
Quite a forward state capital as well, actually, from USA. Obviously, it's got a lot of HP, but 200 XP going to go to Daniel here, which is enough probably to top up his shipment counter to get another shipment in.
Yeah, it got him a shipment, and it gives him a shipment as well. Thank you, fucking nuts. And those islands are incredible.
I don't know why Daniel's training cuirassiers here. Is they're going to get demolished by the regular mass and the Highlanders. Because
I'm getting already out. Ungurs. And another shipment already ready.
Oh, they do have an owl hoot card.
Oh yeah, it was. You're right.
I don't think he's going to be sending it.
Oh, but the coal is nice to have.
Coal is quite nice to have.
Okay, this one has been dealt with. Those two.
Yes. Yes. What is your command?
What's called again?
Yes.
Highlanders. I bet.
Highlanders, yeah.
And a lot's gonna come down on how much these Falcons gonna deal with the infantry ball of USA.
So what's interesting here is obviously Daniel coming from a treaty background, coming from a team player background before transitioning to supremacy. He is very good when it comes to his micro of cannons, of falconets, of culverins, which is quite important when it comes to going against Gatling guns, because obviously Gatling guns are a lot stronger against infantry. I don't think anyone's going to deny that. They've got less range in it. They don't have the sort of
You trade
potential as
culverins.
two Culves though sways exactly what I just said, and this is looking excellent for Ungurs here. 2 falconets already down. Those
The Gatlings are still well alive and healthy.
the Gatling guns are so nice. I mean,
Those two culverins deny any other artillery player also from France.
so effectively, this is forcing France. France has to go into culverins here, surely. And even then, he's behind on score. He's going to lose a load of more units.
Oh my God. Those are
He's
quite
got-
low HP, those Gatlings. So if you have a high amount of raw
They are,
DPS, you
but-
can snap them out.
They are, but I mean, he's still got one up. And at the end of the day, I mean, he's now getting in all of the carbine cavalry. He's getting in all those rangers, which are taking down all the musketeers. And Daniel's mass is just not looking as good as it was earlier. A couple of Highlanders will go down for skirmishers, as well as that George Washington figure right at the front there. But it just looks good for Ungurs.
And this flag is also incredible. 10% attack and HP. Now only attack was it, okay.
It's like
I
a
thought it
Damien.
was also HP. But 10%
Damien.
attack is huge. Especially if it is like on artillery.
Mm. He is going to lose that flag in just a second, though. Did put it down right before his explorer died, which is always nice. I don't think that flag doesn't buff Hausa, does it?
Yep, there's a flag.
Those 2 Culves, though, still going to be doing some damage as well from afar, even if it's just
Yeah,
trying to chip damage against some the skirmishes.
I'm just switching to sharpshooters and carbine cavalry. He does have buffalo soldiers in H3. It's a really nice card to have now. It used to be in H4, but it got moved to H3.
Carbine cavalry are quite weak, weren't they, previously?
Yeah, but they have been buffed, so they have the lock-on feat. So once they get their first shot off, they always get their second shot as well.
I'm ready.
And the buffalo soldiers also gives them 10%
Extra
range,
range
armor, so they are just a little bit more tanky. Equal to other dragoons.
And this is where the sharpshooters are really nice. Well, a lot of cuirassiers on the front line now, which is going to do a lot of damage to those carbine cavalry. Of course, if
And
you get
those
heavy,
captures are really low HP. They get really demolished by cuirassiers.
just those couple of regulars at the front there, and I think he's going to be fine. Although saying that, there's not really any anti-cav here, is there? Once those couple of units go down, there's a batch of 2 cuirassiers in queue for Daniel,
It's gonna take a while for the carbine cavalry to arrive.
and this is a good trade for Daniel, an excellent trade for Daniel.
So he gets all the coals, he gets all the anti-cav. Only those sharpshooters remaining.
Although
Exceptional trade.
it's a good trade, but at the same time, Ungurs has just got the mass. He's remassed quicker. Those sharpshooters are obviously very, very good against skirms.
There was 12 sharpshooters. This is a scary shipment, that is.
And it buffs our hoots, so if he goes for our hoots, they're buffed already.
Be more range, but why not?
I don't think he's going to make any, but
Yeah, but nice to have.
But yeah, this is where Ungurs just has. He has all those TPs working for him in terms of XP. He's sent in the blockhouse card at some point. He snuck that in.
Yeah, he sent in.
Ooh, this is interesting though. If he gets caught at the top here for Ungurs, It might be a kind of sweep. All those sharpshooters at the top getting caught
Like,
up.
what do you do? Do you call them back from the raid? You can't lose all the sharpshooters there.
I mean, that's what Daniel needed.
You can get a nice round actually as well.
He can, but he's got the skirm mass there. Now Ungurs is below on the skirm mass. There's carbine cavalry in danger from the skirms. He's got the CDBs, which can be used in a pinch if he needs them.
Doesn't have straight code.
I don't think it matters here. All those sharpshooters are going to go down from a couple of
like his entire shipment is wasted.
And this is massive. That blockhouse is going to go down. He was relying on that for food down the bottom. A couple of goons are going to come in as well for Daniel to bolster his masses. And, I mean, USA is slightly ahead on score, but it's looking better and better for Daniel now. Look, he's going to remass. Veteran Huss are going to come in. But again, Veteran Huss versus another Cures. Cures just wreck.
Yeah, I think he sent in dragoons as well. Yeah, here they are.
Prêt. Votre ordre? Oui.
And those curious he is also buffed by. He didn't send in cavalry combat yet. Would be a nice time to send in this now. Have combat.
I think that's what I said next. Either that or 1,000 coin or something to bolster his masses. But if he can get a lot of cures out here, if we look at Ungurs, is he still producing Huss? Oh, he's gone for
he's going for Ulans.
But
this is also a really scary shipment if it calls you off guard.
Have they guard Ulans?
I mean, it's dangerous if it catches you off guard. Those are like consular. They get plus 10% HP and attack.
But he is getting harassed off his hunts here. So it's going to be a big old fight with those Ulans. Daniel, I think, has got even more cures in queue. If he can get another batch of cures out, I don't see him losing this fight. Scores on his side as well. A couple of goons as well. That does the job as well.
It's insane how big this thing was. Like, he was like 2k, 3k ahead in score, and now it's like dead even again.
I think US kind of overscores slightly, honestly, because his score has been a lot higher than Daniel's this whole game. When you kind of be surprised if it was that high.
You might be right on that.
He can get another batch of Huss out. I mean, if Ungurs pushes in here, gets quite good position, takes out all those queers, but he doesn't have any anti-cav. He just has a load of Ulan, which have a very high attack, but at the same time, that wall's going to pay dividends as well for Daniel.
Yeah, also, this forest right here is deadly.
I'm ready.
Yes.
So it's Vet Huss versus Vet Cures. Has Daniel sent in cav combat before this fight?
Yeah, it's in now.
Right now as well, so perfect timing.
Perfect timing, perfect for the fight.
You've got those goons behind you with damage. All those queers are getting splash damage off of all those Ulans. I honestly don't know who's going to win this fight. This is incredibly
like really close. The coming card hasn't been carded, so the DPS is quite low. And that's why they're quite squishy. But the dragoons has been picked off, but so is the cav.
4 queers are also going to come in at the back here. All the cavs been picked off for Ungurs. Has Ungurs got anything in queue which will come and save him? I don't know.
He got more Husk in queue. 4 Husks coming.
Too late.
Disabled, but
he's got 4 Huss, but now you've got 4 carded queers on Daniel's side, and he's got the Scare Master too.
Even more accuracy is on the way. Those CDB are incredibly to tank if needed.
Daniel's ahead on economy. He's ahead. I don't know how he's behind on score. I have absolutely no clue. Those queers are going to pick up those Huss just in time. And there's a couple of sharpshooters. Yes, they're better.
His entire economy.
And
but he has to defend this.
He hasn't got
60 build just sitting idle there.
Sending in that carbine cavalry card, I think, is it? Or was that the...
Oh, it is the running artillery, which gives you those Gatling guns.
Which is going to be useful, but he hasn't got anti-cav in anyway. He's got Minutemen coming in. 2 Gatling guns isn't the greatest card at all.
Yeah, it's like 3-2-1. It always cycles through this.
So you don't want to send it again, do you? As 1 is pretty lack.
Like, horrible. You don't want to.
First 2 are right. Well, 3 is very good.
Yes.
but now he's getting pushed off. Daniel's got the economy advantage. Remember, there are CDBs he's got on his villagers instead, and he's got 43 of them.
43 against 39, but he has a bank. He has capitalism, and he has 2.5 worth of coin trickle. And on top of that, he has 30% boosting rate on his funds. So it's roundabout even, actually. All facts considered.
I just think Daniel, unfortunately, he's gone for Swiss pikemen here. I quite like that, but at the same time, Swiss pikemen, very strong against cavalry. They get picked off very easily from skirms.
Yeah. We're speaking about France skirmishers, which are really strong.
I haven't seen a card come in for Daniel. It will probably be sent in soon. Obviously, you've got a couple you can send in. Although Cav HP is also quite a strong card to send in here without many careers.
He has a lot of good options to send, like great infantry attack and cavalry HP are both really good options. But I think Cav HP might be the better option, considering he is massing a lot of cuirassiers.
Yeah, I mean, he's also going for goons now, switching to goons, which is a strong choice because you saw the hussars earlier. And I think Daniel, he's just got the map. He's got that 5k coin mine right in the center of the map. And where does Ungurs actually get any resources from? He's having to push back into the middle of the map.
Nowhere.
He's not able to do.
Like he's only getting wood and coin.
And he's being pushed off his stuff on the right. The outpost not quite going out front to outpost. And all those villagers going down the corner. I think this is just... Honestly, I don't like to call games early, but this looks over.
His next turn is over here, in the middle of the map. And he lost blockers over here. He's getting a little bit of a raid. But it is not going to be enough to get him back to the game. It's still like 37 villagers, CDBs against 34.
Those goons going to come down as well, save the CDBs if they can. And again, he does have those Swiss pikemen there, but he's only got 5. There's no mass.
And the pop difference as well, 145 against 90.
Honestly, I think one of the mistakes that Ungurs has made here, I think he may have forgotten that he actually had the TP. Going for those Cheyenne would have been quite strong, because they are anti-cavalry, but they work obviously hand to hand, a bit like the the javelin riders for Ethiopia and Hausa.
Yeah. He's trying his best to maybe hold here with Swiss pikemen to use his coin. It's gonna be really rough.
Very strong units of Swiss pikemen, but they're also pike, so they get shot off very easily.
Yeah, from those skirmishers, also from those dragoons as well. They can also attack. Kentucky coalfields, coal mines. He is on Hans again. Probably in the middle of the map somewhere. And this technically got shut down. And this is gonna be the last fight of this match, probably. Game deciding.
Swiss Pike's getting some hits off, which are, again, really strong. But it's, I don't think it's going to sway it. Those Gatling guns are doing good damage to the back. Again, as you said earlier, they've only got 150 HP compared to a Faust 200. And they will get shot down by a couple of skirmishes here at the back. A couple of career spears on the way.
Watch be like 2 skirm shot are enough to deal with. Yeah, exactly.
And that's just it.
And now this entire military mass just gonna steamroll everything that Ungurs can throw at him.
What is your ready?
Last man standing.
Those Minutemen going down. I mean, you've got to give it to Ungurs. This is what you should do. It's a tournament game at the end of the day. You should play until you're basically done.
Yeah, sure.
But at the same time, I don't know what he can do. A couple of Swiss pikemen in queue might be able to get 5 out. And if Daniel isn't watching, might just throw his goons. Only got 2. One goes down. 2 go down. But yeah, looking like a strong 3-2 for Dan, honestly. I think quite a surprise for most people. if you look back at the start of the chat, at the start of the live stream, most people are feeling it the other way. Most people saying this is Ungurs' game to lose if we got in general. But Daniel playing
Getting
very
a
well.
good batch of passes. That being said,
There's a decent amount of goods in there, but they are getting attacked. This would be quite a nice clean.
but yet again, 7 cuirassiers come from the back.
Which is
Like playing the reverse card. I flank your flank.
and all those villagers coming out. And there you go. The GG comes in from Ungurs.
Too much remas from France. I agree, Animus.
And just out of interest, Ungurs has only just got to level 16 home cities in the USA, so maybe he doesn't play them very often.
But his build was certainly really strong.
That Highlander card was very nice. Very, very nice.
Like, he had also incredible economy. Capitalism, the bank, the 2.5 point trickle. And he has also the potential to train up to 6 or 5 CDBs as well from this card. And Irish immigrants being like, again, a scaling card.
Oh, it does scale.
Yeah, it does. The up to 30 minutes. But it would have given him 7 seconds?
12.
I mean, if he would send it now, it's give him 7, right?
Oh, 12. It says pop
Oh, yeah,
12.
+5. Yeah. No, I only looked under the first 5.
But
12 villagers shipment. That's insane.
I quite like that build. I think it was genuinely. I think it was Ungurs' game to lose. He lost so many skirmishers, so many sharpshooters, to just being out on the map with those carbine cavalry being too far away. A couple of those PSCs, which are such strong units, cleaned up.
This fight right here under this blockhouse was game deciding.
Well, also just above when
Hello.
Yeah,
We
those
lost
here, those
20
sharpshooters got
units
picked up by
to
those
PSC.
the dams.
Such a close game as well. I mean, Daniel at the start was flaking.
Like,
He
yeah,
lost
when he
two
fight on this position, this was really insanely well timed. Those 2 Covenants got the Falconets, and he was forced to retreat. It was like looking so good for Ungurs, that is. He threw so much stuff away just by trying to raid with his dragoons. It wasn't worth it.
No. Well, what a good series for the first casted series of EPL. Just for a catch up. Well, catch up for everyone else. I think 2 games have been played total. So we've had this game obviously where it's 3-2 to Daniel Biggs against CMC, and then previously we had Kaiser Klein versus Julian, which was also 3-2 to Kaiser. But that was streamed from their channels directly because we couldn't get a caster, unfortunately, for the time. But we do have a couple more games this weekend coming up. Optimus versus Revnak Breeze will come up soon. Was meant to be this evening, but unfortunately was cancelled due to Optimus. Optimus's scheduling. I think we've got a couple more this weekend, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, this entire weekend we have like 2 matches per day, I believe.
Yes, so Mini versus Tavern, which is tomorrow. That's at 5 GMT, which you're casting. We've got Conqueror versus Iron Turk at 7 GMT, which I think you're casting as well, correct?
Yeah, we both are. I'm casting with MFD.
Yeah, I'm not casting it. MFD casting it. And then UKT versus Migo on Sunday at 4 GMT, which is an interesting one because Migo hasn't played very often.
Oh, yeah, right. I haven't seen him like at all.
No, used to be a very, very strong player, but hasn't played a massive amount recently. I think he got into his coding and sort of put AoE on the sidelines, if you will. So that should be quite an interesting game. And then EZ versus Maito. Another interesting game. As a player you haven't seen very often. EZ obviously.
I think he only recently came back.
Yeah, so Maito, obviously, for everyone who doesn't know, is involved in that of AoE in general. And I think he plays a lot more AoE 4 now. So seeing him come back is really good because obviously seeing old faces come back is always nice. Kaiser obviously came back recently.
Yeah, okay, ball enjoyer. Everyone speculated about him. If he is Kaiser or not.
Yeah, spamming out Malta.
Yeah.
Interestingly, Minnie's just said in chat that Malta is playing AoE 4 versus Beastie right now. If anyone wanted to check that out, which would be a good watch. But yeah, a lot of fun-packed games to come for the weekend.
A lot of fun-packed games and a lot of crashes today.
Hopefully you're.
How we're getting on this thing.
But yeah, hopefully someone can boot up a stream. We can send over you guys over to watch them. Maybe Harrison.
Who can we send over to? Let's have a look on who. Is anyone here in the chat who wants to take over, or we look for someone who is streaming Age of Empires 3 right now? We have Caverna. We have many else. At least English-speaking ones. Caverna is playing 1v1 on the ladder at the moment. Or does anyone of the chat wants to take over?
Maybe Callan, Risotto. A lot of people streaming here. Triggered Low Fake Flake Enjoyer, which is Zoe.
Yuki, Harrison, Riot,
I'm not sure.
Colin.
No, it's not for me.
You can play? Sure. You can raid Colin.
We'll give Callan a raid. Obviously, Callan is not actually playing the EPL. Just for anyone wondering, he's an analyst for NDS with Duck, of which he's been an analyst for the last couple of series, which is always fun. So yeah, if you boot up a stream, Callan will give you a raid. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys.
Podcast.
Love to have a good casting review, and honestly, a good start to the EPL. 2 very close series back to back. They took me off. Someone's robbed me of my ability. There you go. Go watch Callan, guys.
Go watch Cullen. Right. You guys are gonna send you over. I hope you have a nice night, day, evening, morning, whatever time zone you're in. And we're gonna see you tomorrow.
See you guys tomorrow.